So tonight's seminar, we're going to focus on the topic of certainty and perseverance and learn it from a brand new way that I don't think we've ever taught in the Kabbalah Center, a deeper way, another layer of understanding it. And we decided to give this seminar also on a very special night because cosmically, we know that in the Kabbalah Center we learn that every day has a unique wavelength of energy. And tonight, being the 7th day of Pisces, is the day that Moses was both born and left the world on the same day. And I don't know if you guys know, but I don't know exactly the number. I don't think it is known, but it's safe to say the souls who lived maybe 2,000, 2,500 years and earlier, the ones who were completely dedicated to the perfection of their soul and their tikkun process, completely to transform themselves to be with the light, they had such a circular life, meaning that they always left the world on the same day that they were born, which is kind of symbolic of closing their personal tikkun process, something that is so amazing. And the light that they revealed stays immortal forever and helps every generation. So if you think of great souls like Abraham or Isaac or Jacob, all these biblical figures and prophets that we read about, that we learn about, they corrected their soul and then opened up a channel of light for the entire world that we could draw from this well of energy forever. The day that it's most powerful to draw from the well is the day that a soul leaves. Because on that day, there's an imprint of all the light they've revealed in their entire life in one day. So that day started about an hour ago at sunset and will last for 25 hours until nightfall tomorrow. What does that mean practically? We're going to learn a little bit about Moses and how that relates to one of his most pristine qualities of certainty. But for the next 25 hours, we have the opportunity, just by asking and opening up something inside of ourselves, to draw from the perfected soul of this individual. If we need the strength that he had to overcome his challenges and elevate his consciousness, that energy is available. All we have to do is know about it and then draw from it. So before I start, we light a candle on the death anniversary of any individual to help draw their soul, but especially the soul of a righteous individual. And one of the reasons is because the flame of the candle, Kabbalistically, has 3 parts. One, it's the internal color, the blue color that we see is one phase of the flame. The second phase is the bright light that emanates, that gives the shine, gives the light off. And then the Kabbalists say there's a third energy, an aura, a glow that comes from the candle. And these 3 levels represent the 3 levels of the soul of each individual. We all have levels of our soul that we cleanse and we perfect, and those levels have levels, and those levels have levels, and that's why we're constantly climbing the levels of our soul and achieving higher levels of consciousness and fulfillment. So by lighting that candle, we're drawing the 3 levels of the soul of Moses to be with us, to guide us through the next day and for the entire year. Let's close our eyes and try to think what has been the most important concept you have learned on the spiritual path. If somebody asked you, what is the most powerful way to connect to the light of the Creator? What comes up for you that you believe in? It's in your bones, it's in your heart, something you live by, something you're passionate about. And keep your eyes closed, and as you start to think about this concept, this wisdom that you've learned, that you live your life by to connect to the light, I want you now to kind of like rise above that. Visualize that there's something more, something deeper, something incredibly profound. We know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. What we're doing now is we're opening our desire. We want to learn something profound. We want a deeper way of accessing the light of the Creator. Tonight, we want that each one of us is going to hear something different that is unique to his or her own soul, with the help of the soul of Moses, that will give us a tool that is more profound than any tool we've learned so far. And why will we learn that new tool? Not because we're at a new lecture, but because there's something inside of us that is desiring it, that is yearning for it, that is wanting it. Something inside of us is changing, so we will earn something new and something deep to come to us. All right. Now open your eyes. Now, let's learn a couple concepts, and then we'll workshop it, and we'll discuss it, and we'll go to the next level. We've learned a concept called the endless. In the endless, we have the light, signified by point A, creating and fulfilling the vessel, signified by point B. It looks like there was a first and a second, a cause and an effect. The Kabbalists say in the endless, something that we cannot comprehend is that there is, or there was, no time. There's no time in the endless. Meaning, point A and point B is not like you draw a line from the light feeding the vessel. Point A and point B are overlapping each other. They're happening simultaneously. It is not something that the human mind can grasp. And the Kabbalists say don't even try to fathom it. We just need to know that we can't understand this whole notion that time, the notion of a process, definitely the notion of pain, because all pain is me being distant from my fulfillment. So if there's no distance, I mean there's no pain. So the endless represents a reality where every soul in this world desired and received simultaneous to the desire all the fulfillment that that soul would ever, ever, ever hope to have. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah? Okay. So, true or false? There is no time in the endless. It says right there. It says no time. I generally don't ask difficult questions. Usually, whatever question I'm asking, odds are the answer is right on the board. Okay. Now, because of the reason of bread of shame, of the need to earn, and that's a whole nother concept, whole nother many hours of class, a new reality had to be formed. In this reality, calling it the birth of creation, physicality, time, space, and motion, we have some new rules. That's the rule. That's it. Okay, there we go. We began a process of tikkun. So each soul now has spiritual baggage that it comes to the world with. Because there's a game that the soul needs to play to feel like it is part of the creation process. Because in the endless, the vessel, point B, was a passive participant, meaning it was created and fulfilled immediately. The vessel didn't feel like it had anything to do with the process of earning or revealing the light. So some kind of a game, even though it seems like it's a pointless game because the vessel's still going to get whatever it wants, but a game is created so that the vessel feels it is a creator of whatever it receives. That game means that it has a tikkun. And with that tikkun comes time, comes a process, and comes pain just in case somebody is not going through the process in the way that they should, because there's free will. So I can choose to go the proactive path, or I could choose to go the reactive path. Now, if I choose the reactive path, pain will be there to adjust to me. So that's the new reality, tikkun, which is time, pain, and process. Now let's look at this next diagram. A. A represents what? Very good, it's right there. A is the light. The light represents whatever we want. What do you want? Think of something you want. It's always important to be cognizant of what we want and that we feel connected to it. Proactively to know what you want. Because Satan, what he does is he puts reactive desires in our minds all day long. You know, we're just kind of walking, all of a sudden something doesn't go our way, and then we want fulfillment. That's not our want. That's the opponent injecting himself into our process. My want is me pausing and saying and asking myself, what do I want? Most people don't even ask what they want. Some people can be in relationships for a long period of time without even realizing what they want. Always important to ask what you want. Whatever you want, that's represented by A. Now B is the vessel's desire for what? For A. However, now, what's different between the endless and now is there's a space between B and A. So, there's a little line. That line represents a potential destiny that all of us can go through to achieve A. Now, before I continue, let's make this practical. You know what you desire. I want you to think of a scenario in your life where you received something in a very miraculous, beautiful way that didn't involve chaos, that really was just, you know, and it could have been something you did because of a spiritual action you executed from studying Kabbalah. Maybe you let something go, you did something very profound, and all of a sudden your desire, B, was fulfilled by A, and it was a beautiful way that it was fulfilled. Does that make sense, what I'm asking you to do? You have to think for a moment. Just think for a moment of how you wanted something, and it was just a beautiful path of how you got it. You might have worked hard, something happened, but you're generally happy about that process. In fact, if there was every process in your life that you went through, you would like it to be like that, where it was, okay, I wanted it, I worked for it, and I got it, and it was just a beautiful circuit that I created. Now, take a moment and share that example with the person sitting next to you. Let's continue. We're building ourselves to the concept. This B to A scenario is one potential scenario that you have the option of going through to achieve the fulfillment of A. Simultaneously, and this is where we have to broaden our consciousness, simultaneous to this process that you are viewing, this movie that you are watching, we're all watching a movie now. We're sitting in a class and we're observing life in this destiny. However, simultaneous to you sitting in this chair and watching this movie, simultaneous to this, there are versions of each one of us living in other movies that are playing out at this very moment. It's hard for our mind to grasp what that even means, but there are parallel destinies happening. You are conscious of this one, but they all exist simultaneous. Where? Where are they? Well, I'm sorry, this is good. This is good. Well, you want to go there, right? You want to go there. All right, so imagine, let's say, we parceled out this room into, 40 rooms. Let's say we just made 40 rooms. Oh, let me make it even more simple. Let's say from this stage to that door, there's 10 rooms. And each room is better than the room before it. Each room is better than the room before it. There are no guards at the gates of these rooms, at the doors. There's no one telling you you can or cannot go. However, you're in the first room, and the only way you can go to the next room is by becoming the qualities of that room. And the moment you become the qualities of that room, let's say it's more positive qualities, imagine like an energetic force, like a breeze, like a wind pushes you, and immediately you're in this room. You're in this new room. But you only get to go to this new room by having the access code to this new room, which is you are now the qualities of this new room. Now, all these rooms exist, and you are allowed to go to any one you want as long as you become the qualities of that room. You follow? And that's the beauty of it, because there's no coercion. No one's telling you have to stay in this room. It's not no one's punishing us and saying you can't move from this room. The doors are open and there's no guards even. But you will not be able to access that room. You will not be able to find yourself in that room. In fact, to you, the room doesn't even exist until you become the qualities of that room. As soon as you become the qualities of that room, you find yourself in that room. You understand? When we started to learn Kabbalah, what was mind-blowing about Kabbalah 1? You just learned there's more rooms. You learn there's more rooms, and you start to learn a little bit about the qualities of those rooms. And then somebody told you, by acting like those qualities, you get to access that room. So it was like 3 crazy things. 1, there's another room. 2, that room has qualities. And 3, if I act like it, I automatically enter that room. Nobody taught us that growing up. Yeah, people said, be your best, be your this. But to lay it out for me, show me my options, and to always know there's a better room. No one taught us that for sure there's a better room. Now let's look at some other scenarios here with A, B. We have another B scenario. Notice this B is exactly like this B. True or false? Is there something different between these 2 B's? No. Is the A the same? It's the same A, same B's. The process is different. Notice this process is much longer, much squigglier, ups and downs. This was a direct process. Notice how there still has to be a process. A and B cannot overlap like they did in the endless. A and B still has to have a process because we are in that world where we need to feel like, wow, I did it. That it wasn't just the Creator swooping down and taking care of all my problems without me even lifting a finger. So it has to look like we appear to do something. The Creator's just saying, listen, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry. Just do something. Do something so you feel like you did something. That's the thing. We don't have to be perfect. We just have to make it look like we're becoming perfect. We just have to make the effort to become perfect. And the Creator says, okay, you did something. Will you now feel that you've earned this tidal wave of energy I'm about to give you? And once the Creator can ascertain that you will feel like you've earned it, then it comes. But if the Creator in any ways feels that what you're about to get is going to overwhelm you, is going to not be appreciated by your vessel, the Creator knows that it wouldn't be prudent to give it to you, because you will not be able to enjoy it or experience it. So we have many different B scenarios. All of us live or choose to live these different B scenarios. The A always remains the same. The B, the desire, always remains the same. We all want the same thing. And whatever we want, our personal A already exists the way it did in the endless. So, what's so hard about having a good life? It becomes hard when we lose our priority. The first step to certainty, giving you the first step to certainty, I'm going to circle back to this, is a concept, bless you, the Kabbalists share, Ein od milvado. There's nothing we need to know. The first step of certainty is to know there is nothing besides you. You means your tikkun, and the light of the Creator means your fulfillment. When you're going through a process or a challenge, how can you switch to the room that is the sweetest, that is the shortest, that time has shrunk, and that pain goes away? How can you close the gap of time and access your miracle, your fulfillment, as fast as possible? The first step is to know that there's only you and the light, meaning there's only B and there's A. That's it. And there is A. There is always A, and that A is always waiting for us. For example, someone tells me recently, you know, it was so good a couple of years ago, something in my life, it was so good, and today I don't have that. Today I don't have that, and I want to relive that. I want to feel that. I want to go back to that. What's the problem with that? Is that Kabbalah teaches us that right now, if I'm not happy, that's impossible. I'm not happy, okay. That doesn't mean that the Creator has not created a scenario called point A that is waiting for me. When we doubt that there are blessings waiting for me, that it's already there, that there's no way I can enter a situation where I'm going backwards, it's impossible. It's impossible. If I'm unhappy now, it's impossible that the Creator would create a scenario where I'm going backwards, where my fulfillment doesn't exist, even though it looks like it. It's like acting like that 16-year-old boy or girl in high school that just got their heart broken after being in a relationship for like a year, and you know what they say? They say, Dad, I'm never gonna be happy again in a relationship. That's it. Like that, it's like that 16-year-old boy who's also a Pisces. Never. What's the point of even living? Never. And then you pat him on the head, you say, yes, don't worry. 2 months, you're gonna see your new A. As soon as a person realizes, yes, it looks bad. It looks really bad. This is gone, that's gone, this is happening, they're saying this, and all this craziness, yeah, all this, that's all the noise. That's us not believing there's only A and B. You say, wait a minute, 1 second here. 1 second, pause the movie. There's only B, me, the vessel, and then there's A, my fulfillment. It's there. So what do I got to do? That's it. That's the first step. That's the first step to certainty. That's what certainty is. There's only a desire and there's a fulfillment. What about all this other noise? What about all these people? What about these people? Aren't these people holding me back from getting my A? Imagine right now there's a person out there and all they're doing is speaking bad about you, making it very hard for you to achieve your A, your fulfillment. Imagine this person, you're single, and this person is going to the 4 billion people that you could potentially date, and each one, step by step, saying, this person, in case you ever thought to date this person, you should never do it, and here's a whole list of why. And they actually get a chance to speak with all 4 billion people that you could potentially date. And let's say they just cover all bases and they speak to all 7 billion, just in case you decide to change your mind. And you're thinking here, well, that just reduced my chances of meeting somebody. If you think it reduced your chances, you can't be with the light. You can't enter the new room. You can't enter the new room if you think someone speaking bad about you can even do anything to you achieving your point A. Certainty is, there's only me and the Creator. There's only my desire and my fulfillment. There's only point B and point A. Yeah, but this is happening. Yeah, but your accountant said that. Yeah, but your lawyer said that. And I'm not saying we don't go through the process. We go through the process. And we speak to people. And we ask questions. And we go through the whole game because it's like a fun game that the Creator put us toward. You know, all right, I'll make the phone call. Yeah. But in your heart, as long as you know that there's only point A and point B, fastest way. Fastest way. That's step one. Step two is, now you actually have to begin the process of working on your tikkun. If you say to yourself, okay, a lot of chaos, a lot of noise, a lot of problems, a lot of pain, I'm just going to now know, one, point A is waiting for me. And not only is point A waiting for me, point A is better than any point A you've ever had before. Because this person said, oh, I'll never be as good as 3 years ago. It'll never be. I guess I'll just have to settle for this. I'll have to try to make it work. You know what? I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. That's the best I can do. That's impossible. That goes against everything we're learning here. That goes against the laws of creation. There can never be the more fulfilling reality 3 years ago. Yes, but I was married to my soulmate and they're gone. They passed away. What you're saying? That pain is gonna be with me forever. And look, there's truth to that. But you also have to know that if you really want it, there is a reality. I don't know what that reality looks like, but there is a reality where you're going to look back and say, everything that happened, I actually wouldn't want it to be undone. Not just happened for a reason. It happened it needed to happen for me to get to my next level of fulfillment. If it didn't happen, I wouldn't be as fulfilled as I was today. This is not easy, especially when it comes to death, and there's different examples where people, it's very hard. And I'm not saying I'm now going to stand here and say that that's possible because I didn't go through something like that. So I can't say that, but what I do know is that the wisdom is bulletproof, and the wisdom says, and everything else makes sense to us, right? Everything else is truthful. The wisdom says that reality also exists. How does that connect with tonight also? It'll be related to tonight. Moses, anybody know how old Moses was when he just began the story of the Israelites and Egypt and that whole drama that happened in the Bible? How old was he? Was it 80s, 90s? He was 80. He was 80. He went to 3 chapters in his life, 40, 80, and he left the world at 120. For the first 80 years, Moses went, and there isn't that much written about it, but in the stories around the stories, you learn that he went through every challenging type of scenario to purify his consciousness, to cleanse him, to put him in scenarios where he constantly had to say, no, it's an illusion. No, only A and B. No. So much noise. Rav Ashlag, the founder of the Kabbalah Center, has a quote that he says about Moses. It's Rav Ashlag, that's Moses. And I'll read the quote. And although one sees many contradictions, it's confusing, what's going on? I don't feel it. And contradiction could just be the way you feel. I don't feel it. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel energized. I don't feel this. I feel old. I feel too young. I feel too, whatever. One sees many contradictions found in the Creator's providence, meaning you start to get confused about the Creator. Is he really good? Yeah. Is there really point A? Is there really point A? I'm not sure there is blessings waiting for me. I'm not sure it can ever be as good as it was. And you start to have those thoughts. One should still overcome them through certainty beyond and above their logic. And say that they are benevolent providence, meaning you still say, point A is there, it is good, it is better than it's ever gonna be, it's better than it's ever been, and it's waiting for me. My only free will is how much time I want between me and it. 5 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 years, 10 lifetimes, my choice. This is the meaning of what is written about Moses. It says in the Bible, and he hid his face. That's code for, it means that he saw all the contradictions. Moses went through pain. Moses went through all these challenges. He was doing what the Creator told him, and constantly things were not going his way. He saw the contradictions, and he held them through exertion by the power of certainty above logic. Meaning, there's another place where he says that Moses pretended like he was blind and he was deaf. So all these problems going on, and people want to talk to you. You want to talk. So what did Moses do? Closed his eyes, closed his ears, and just have certainty. And he just did the work. He just worked on himself, worked on his tikkun, worked on his certainty, and knew that as long as he moves forward, it's there. And what would happen? He would enter the room. Once you enter the new room, what happened to the old room? It goes as fast and disappears as fast as we don't even know about the other rooms. Do you know about the other rooms? You don't know about the other rooms. That's how powerful it is. It just goes. You don't even know about the old room. Every problem can be gone. The minute you enter the new room, all the problems go away. But then Satan comes and says, come on. Those problems don't just go away. They linger, they scar, they hurt, they this and they that and whatever. And that's the game that we're constantly playing. Satan says there isn't point A and point B. There's point A, B, C, K, L, J, F, G, E. He keeps throwing all these points out, and it drives us crazy. And then we react. We say, wow, I'll never get married if this doesn't happen and that doesn't happen. I'll never be successful if that doesn't happen. I'll never feel good. I'll never have friends. I'll never look this way. I'll never look that way again. Somebody just recently said, oh, I've had a child. I'm never going to look the way I did on my wedding night. Something I just recently heard. I said, that's impossible. And by the way, it doesn't mean you might look that way. But whatever you were going to get from looking that way, you'll get more. Does that make sense? But as soon as you say, no, I'll never be, you basically say you never want to enter that room. Because you're basically saying that room doesn't even exist. If that room doesn't exist, you'll never enter it. Recently, I was with somebody, and he was talking to this person. This person was a person who broke through many things, and he was talking to another person who was kind of starting to break through stuff. And this person, the first person, said, he started to say, you got to believe in all these crazy possibilities. And then this person, the second person, said, but that's not logical. That's not logical. So the first person said, I don't care if it's logical or not. But if you don't believe that it's possible, there's no room even. First, believe it's possible, then let the Creator decide if it's not possible. But if you don't believe it's possible, it basically means you will never get to enter that room. Ever. But what's the worst case scenario? Believe it's possible, believe there is a room, and if there is, great. And if there isn't, the Creator will show you. But what do you lose by believing that it's possible? And by believing, I'm saying, do you believe that you can be happier every day than you were before? Oh, but I'm older now, I'm more tired, I have less energy, I have this. All the crazy stuff starts coming in every time we hear that. But I've learned in the Kabbalah Center, as soon as something doesn't go, something they're not feeling right, tell myself, that's impossible. That's impossible. That's impossible. Otherwise, this whole thing's a sham. The whole thing's a sham. If the Creator doesn't have something waiting for me now that's better than yesterday, the whole thing's a sham. Isn't it? It means the best times were in the past, and now we're just kind of like, like flailing like fish out of water, just trying to cope with life till I guess everybody just dies and we figure something else happens. That's not exciting. And it says that before you go to the next room, it looks like you went 25 rooms back. Seconds before you go to the next room. Seconds. That's also kind of confusing, isn't it? We would like it to just be, I see the room, I'm walking towards the room. Oh, as I'm walking towards the room, I feel the light of the room. Feel the energy of the room. Oh, it's so nice. And just casually, I just stumble upon the room. And it all makes sense, and it was just so nice. No, it says that as you're getting closer to the room, it feels like you're getting farther from the room. You're getting farther. As you're getting closer, you're getting farther. And right before the room, it looks like there is no room, and you've totally wasted your time. And then there's those few people that still say, but I know point A exists because I learned it in Kabbalah 1 that point A exists. And I don't care what 7 billion people tell me. I'm going to walk through that room. And you step in that scary zone. And that's when it all opens. The biggest problem we have is we're afraid. We're afraid to believe that I can be happier tomorrow than I was today. We don't even think about that. The Israelites went through a 40-year journey that should have taken 11 days. 11 days is what it would have taken from Egypt to Israel. But what did the Israelites do? They fell into their tikkun. They wanted to be a little reactive here, a little reactive there. So they still got to point A. Point A never changed. The land of Israel, point A, their fulfillment never changed. It was always there. By the way, Israel never left. They didn't go anywhere. Israel was just sitting there like, guys, when are you coming? Israel didn't move around. It wasn't like going farther or closer. Or it was change. Israel was like, I'm right here. And it says that the Israelites, for 40 years, went in loops. Loops. Do we go through loops? Same relationship, same scenario, same mindset, same victim consciousness, same blaming, and but people tell me, David, I get it. Just only me and the Creator, I know. So what about this other person? I said, wait, no, there is no other person. People, it's like we believe in the Creator, and we believe in all this, but still this person has power over me. This person, I'm waiting for that person to change. Got to completely think out of the box. Moses was going to take them. Moses, he probably went to Israel in 11 days. There's another version of Moses who stayed behind to go in the loop-de-loop with the Israelites for 40 years. Moses, he was already in Israel. And there's so many more secrets we can learn beyond this, but when you work on your tikkun and we pause and we're not reactive, we immediately shorten the gap. We immediately go to the new room. That's what pause is. Pause, what a pleasure is. Pause, what a pleasure. You just basically stop being reactive. You enter the new room. That's all. Now, once you get to the new room will tell you what's going on, what to do. Take a moment now, and in your own words, share what you've learned with the person sitting next to you. All right. Anybody like to ask a question? Any questions? Or what did you learn? What did you learn in your own words? What did you get from tonight? In your own words. Yes, please.
I have a performance review tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm
for your position at work.
For my position at work. And
okay.
I've sort of gotten myself a little worked up about it, and I don't think it's going to be as good as I want it to be.
Okay.
And so if I'm sort of accepting my tikkun and doing all this stuff, like what does that look like in practice? Like, am I supposed to be accepting, but is that sort of denial because I'm not really hearing anything? Can you sort of give some...
So first, what is it that you really want?
A good review.
That's not what you want. That's not what you want because let's say you get a good review, but it's the worst career to be in for your soul. The worst thing that could have happened is you got a good review, right? It's like someone saying, I spilled something on my dress, and now I'm going to this party, and I just wish I had a clean dress. But now, maybe by not having a clean dress, maybe she looks less attractive, and she gets hit on. She doesn't get hit on by the wrong person who was going to hit on her that night, and enter into a 3-year relationship, and then that would have been. The thing is, we so don't know. We don't know anything. What we do know is there's point A and there's point B. And the only thing I need to worry about is my tikkun. So let's remove your boss. Let's remove this review. Let's remove your career. There's you and the creator. Now there's you. The you part is the fear, the doubt, the self-doubt, the worry of, where is my life going to go? That's the only thing you need to work on between now and your review. In fact, your review doesn't even matter. The only thing that matters about your review is that maybe your boss will say something that will give you a good hint about your tikkun. And your boss might say, you're lazy, you're this, you're that. Oh, amazing. Those are all amazing points about my tikkun. Those are all amazing points about my tikkun. Now, if I work on my tikkun and I have certainty that everything I ever wanted is waiting for me, that's it. No one can stop you from that, not even your boss. The Creator might even elevate you above your boss. Now, how might that happen? We can't. Us trying to try to think how the Creator is going to do His thing. Let Him do His thing. We already have enough on our plate just working on our tikkun. We don't need to now try to micromanage the Creator, how He's gonna get me out of my jam. That's it. It's so simple. All you got to do is work on your tikkun the next 24 hours. And part of that means I don't care what happens. In fact, visualize getting fired. Visualize Him saying the worst things to you. Visualize all of it. And get excited about it, and that's how you know you've gone through the process of cleansing.
For me, what I learned is the idea of just being everything simple. Because maybe it's because of my age, but I'm the type of person that I get bored very easily.
You get bored easily.
Yeah, so it's not that I seek chaos, but it's more like when I don't have it, it's like, okay, well, what now?
Right.
Right. So for really just seeing point A and point B, you really understand that you just need one thing and that's it. You don't need anything else.
Right. Very good.
There's no point of anything else. It's just A and B, and everything else will just come. So.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Satan has done a great job of convincing us that if point A to point B is boring, it's so boring. You need a little drama. You need a little problems. There are people who are scared of good relationships, just scared of it. Scared of good relationships where you just enjoy each other's time and talk and share with the world and be vulnerable. It scares people, some people like crazy. They need some drama and fighting and pushing and back and forth and other people involved and scandal and it's like they feel like they're achieving something. Some people like to go 40 years. Because Satan is, and some people say, you know what, I still like the 40 years. I feel like I grow more, I'm more mature. I mean, come on, 40 years, how much more mature are you going to be after 40 years than 11 days? Even that's a false belief system because there's no way that by following the path of the light, you're going to have less. So the people who got there in 11 days, they would actually have more wisdom, more understanding, more energy than the 40 years. But society has implanted a lot of limiting belief systems in us, everyone in his own way.
My question is, what's the difference between having certainty and going through a certain process that you're going through versus understanding what you're going through, then shifting or moving to a different process?
Give me an example.
So let's say someone's unhappy in a relationship. Is that a sign you push it through, or does it say okay, this is not for me, move on to the next one?
Okay, so we're not even saying what to do yet, right? What are we saying? We're saying, all right, I'm in this relationship, I'm not happy. But that's impossible. Creator wants me to be happy.
Right.
So the fact that I'm in a bad relationship, that's because I'm choosing to be in one. Creator already at this moment, it's not like Creator is saying, listen, right now you're gonna have a bad one, and then later you're gonna have a good one, but now you gotta have a bad one. Creator's not even saying that. Creator's saying, here's a good one, and a bad one if you want, and you're choosing the bad one, that's cool. But the good one's always here, in case you want it, always. Just let me know, right? So what happened now? Do I leave it? Do I stay? Well, we just said first know that it's there. The happiness is there. And the second thing is just work on your correction. So I'm in this relationship, what's my correction? Like I spoke to somebody, and this person just has a fear of confrontation, just total fear of abandonment, so many things, so they decide to be in an abusive relationship. So what would happen if you just stood up for yourself and you said, you know what, I'm willing to leave, just even to go through that exercise. Whatever it is, just break your fear and know that the pleasure is waiting. Those two things are all you need. Leave, don't leave, that's already too complicated. Because once you start working on your tikkun, boom, you're in the new room. The new room shows you what to do. I spoke to someone like 8 years ago about this. She said, I don't know this guy. And I said, okay, just work on yourself and have the certainty. So she's walking down the street and she sees him at a flower shop. And she kind of gets like excited, like he's turning a corner, really like going to show affection and da-da-da. And he's buying the flowers, like one of those outdoor flower stands. She kind of walks up to him and goes, hey. And he turns around and he's like shocked. But it's like something about his face kind of like tells her something, wait a minute. So she's like, are those for me? And he like hesitated. And she just like, you know what? She got it. She got the message. And that was it. But because she entered the room that showed her the clarity, as opposed to being in the room where she's being toyed around like a ping pong constantly. No, maybe yes. No, I don't want to lose a good thing. But he really cares. Back and forth. No, she worked on herself. The Creator arranged it. Now, painful to have that happen, but it's the fastest path. And then immediate clarity. So all we got to do is just work on ourselves and know that it's not coming. Not even that it's coming, that it's there. It's there. Not coming. Coming implies time. The Creator's world, there's no time. It's already happened. Great question. Anybody else?
Step 2 is beginning the process of working on your tikkun. How do you know when you're at that final stage of it? You had said earlier, like when you're in the room and you don't believe that there is a door or a path or any way to get what you want anymore, that's when something happens, like right around the corner. Is that part of like the tikkun process, that you know that you're close if you're doing the work on yourself, and then it feels like...
I think kind of what you're asking is, how do I find my tikkun? How do I know I'm working on my tikkun? How do I know I'm done with my tikkun? That's a complicated question, but there are things that a person must keep in mind when working on their tikkun. One, how badly do you want to know what your tikkun is? As bad as you want anything else? If you don't want to know what it is, if you don't want to know what it is, you won't be shown what it is. So sometimes people tell me, I'm in Kabbalah 3, I don't know my tikkun is. There's one thing I've seen common in everyone. Doesn't matter who they are or where they come from. When they want something, they get it. It's amazing. You want like a certain kind of food, and it's like you don't know where it is. It's like a donut you want, and you're craving it, you'll find it. You'll find it. When somebody wants something, it's amazing. I don't care if they have the lowest IQ or the highest IQ, they find it. Because the desire is powerful. Desire is a magnet. So if you really want to know what it is, you're going to find it. Number 2, you got to surround yourself by people with the consciousness. Because when you're around people who have the light, it shows you your darkness. And number 3, you got to study. Once you start getting an idea, okay, I got a tikkun around anger, you got to learn everything about anger. Kabbalah classes, non-Kabbalah classes, anger gurus, anger therapists, whatever. Read, Google it all day long about anger. Learn about anger, motivational speeches about anger, how to break through anger, where does anger come from? Go through it and invest in it, because within all those classes, there's the light, the medicine to anger. And that light surrounds you and starts to push you in the direction of overcoming anger. And once you've done all that and you've made max effort, then the Creator says, okay, now my turn, pulls you out, pulls you into the new room. All right, so before we leave, let's do one last meditation to connect to the soul of Moses, because you're right about one thing, it's not easy, it's very challenging, sounds great, always sounds great in a classroom setting, but the opponent always has got an ace up his sleeve. Always. He already knows how he's going to undo whatever we learned here tonight. He's already got it all mapped out and figured out. So the only chance we have is to connect to someone who's already beat him. There are a few people who just beat Satan. Satan is scared of these people. One of them happens to be the soul of the person who left tonight. So let's close our eyes. Let's ask, just try to visualize what it looks like, what it feels like from Moses, his energy, his surrounding light, his teachings, the fact that he brought wisdom into the world that all religions eventually nourished from spiritual faiths and paths and billions of lives transformed just from the light of Moses. His certainty, his humility, his ability to never take anything personal. Nothing was personal. He never had hatred in his heart for anyone or anything. He gave to people who spit in his face. Just a complete inspiration of a person who lived by the laws of the light. Let's ask Moses for protection, for certainty. Let's ask for Moses to clear away all the limited belief systems that we have, all the wrong belief systems. So whatever's wrong, just ask the light through Moses, just take it away. Let's leave here tonight with at least the certainty that every day the Creator wants me to be happy and happier than yesterday. And anything less is just a lie. And we remember that it's seared in our consciousness, and Satan can never take it away from us. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you very much.